Hey, Keepers, what do you say? What do you know? This is the Keeper coming out of the garage, man, with a very interesting and not stupid video. Okay, this video, I guess we could call it history. And have you ever wondered who invented the piano and when the piano was invented? Stuff. See, this is why I grew my goatee, so I could ponder. You know, if you have hair growth, you could do pondering. And so, like, who invented the piano? Well, I got the answer. You ready? The piano was invented 1700 by an Italian. See, this is why. With the last name like a Di Piazza, I'm happy to find out facts like this. Alright. In the 1700s, an Italian inventor by the name of Cristofori invented the piano. And he kind of did it as it's like a takeoff off of the clavinet. Alright, so we have an answer for that. How about electric pianos? We could ponder. Yes, you invented electric piano. Well, the first electric pianos were invented in the 1920s. And Neo Bernstein was amongst the first to have a working electric piano. But in the year 1954, Wurlitzer came out with their first electric piano, which was the model EP, not ET phone home. This is EP electric piano 110. That was their first model. All right. And the Rhodes followed that in 1965. Okay, how about that, man? Pretty good information. Only here you get this stuff, man. And, okay, you know, another cool thing is I talk a lot about retro keyboards and what it was like growing up with through the evolution of all this stuff. But, you know, one thing we never talked about was all the add-ons, pedals. So I got some pedal information. And, well, what about the wah-wah pedal? Alright. Remember the wah-wah pedal? Well, the wah-wah pedal was invented by Brad J. Plunkett in 1966. And get this, he built this for Thomas Organ. So in 1966, Thomas Organ Company, they were putting the wah-wah pedals in their organs. And so there we go. So that was the first circuit, and the first working model of that was in a Thomas Organ in 1966. All right. Then, what about flangers? Ooh, mama. Well, the first flanging effect was done by EMI Studio, done by EMI Abbey Road Studios in 1966. And then after that, then other companies took off and made a circuit for that. All right. Then while we're talking flange, let's go with phasing. All right. Actually, phasing goes quite back. The first working phaser was made in 1958 by Jack Kilby. He actually designed the circuit. And in 1970, the late great Tom Oberheim took the circuit and built the first phase shifter that a lot of his stuff he built the stuff by Maestro. All right, and they had all that stuff. They had a lot of different stuff under that name, Maestro. And if you're old, you'll remember that name. So, As early as 1958, the first working phase shifter circuit designed by Jack Kilby, and the first working unit to use that circuit was 1970 by Tom Overhunt. Okay, then the first chorus. The first chorusing unit came out in 1979. It was made by Boss. So the Boss pedal in 1979 was the first pedal to feature chorusing. All right, Boss is a division of Roland. Okay, and then also 1974. I should have wrote down the guy's name, but this guy made a pedal. It was called the Mutron. All right, and the Mutron was basically, well, one of the effects it did was like an auto wall. All right, like a good example, like Stevie Wonder was the first guy to bring the auto wall, or the Mutron pedal to light. You know, he's the one that kind of made everybody, oh, I gotta have one of those. And the song that he used it on was Higher Ground. All right, and that's the auto wall. And but the Mutron did that. Also, Steely Dan used it. They did some type of song. It was like a rag. It was like a 1920 rag, and when you hear it, you hear like it sounds like a muted trumpet. But actually, what you heard was not a muted trumpet. That was done by Jeff Baxter playing guitar and making his guitar through the Mutron pedal sound like a muted trumpet. And I think that he did that on the Katy Lied album. All right. And but 1974 came the Mutron, and they came out with a bunch of other stuff like the biphase and a bunch of other pedals. All right. And then tape echo. Well, the very first tape echo was, believe it or not, was invented by Les Paul. And I didn't write down the date, but it was 1950 something, early 50s. Hold on a minute, we'll find. Oh, I didn't bring my phone in, damn it. Yeah, I think it was 1954. All right. And Les Paul invented the first tape echo, and then he also invented the sound on sound circuit that was used in the tape echoes. And also during the late 50s and throughout the 60s, one of the main processing for PA systems was a box that ran on a tape, and that was called an Echoplex. And that was a tape echo. And I actually, in the late 70s, I used an Echoplex with my Mini Moon. All right. And then also another good unit that rivaled the Echoplex was the Roland Space Echo. All right. So there's some information on some stuff you probably never really thought of until I brought it up. And yeah, actually I kind of thought the piano was maybe invented in the 1400s, but 1700 was when it was invented. So getting one last thing before I wrap this video up is I've been reading a lot of my comments. Somehow some of my comments I wasn't getting. And to actually read all my comments, I found if I go into my editing page and click on comments, then it will bring up all my recent comments. So I don't have to go video to video to find out what my comments are. Because sometimes when I do that, it will say I have like 9 comments, but I could only read 3 of them. But when you go into the editing and click on comments, all your comments show up. Okay. A couple of you guys asked if I was into sequencing. Yeah, big time. I got over 300 videos posted. And if you go and review my library, you'll find a large amount of videos on sequencing, how to create, but I'm a chord guy, all right. So if you own chords, then you're gonna really dig the information I'm giving you, and basically the information that I put out in my videos, that would pertain to if you have a Triton N50, Cronus, 01W, and Chrome EXs, or regular Chrome and Chrome EXs. I believe I covered everything. And in that videos, I show you how I do everything, a lot of tricks, with tons of tricks and stuff like that too. So, and also I have an upcoming video, which is probably, I may start it, I may do it today. It's going to be on sequencing, and so that's that. So I am big time into sequencing. Actually, was into sequencing back as when it first started. That's like back when you had to have a multi-timbre unit, you had to have a sequencer, you had to have a drum machine, you had to MIDI clock them all together, and yeah, it was back then when it was a pain in the ass to do. But that's upcoming. I'll be doing a pretty cool video explaining a lot more about sequencing, and so that's probably about all I got for you guys. There was something else that I wanted to say, but I can't remember. So, but that's okay. That's the story of my life. So, hey guys, God bless. See you when I see you.